Hi, my name is Stefano and I'd like to welcome you to this tutorial on how to add a module position in Joomla. Now normally I work with Joomla 1.5, so Joomla 1.6 was a little bit of a departure for me from what I usually do. Now, let me preface this tutorial by saying I'm by no means an expert at Joomla. I've been working with Joomla for probably the better part of the last year or so, creating pretty simple websites for a couple of clients. Normally I work in HTML or WordPress, for those of you familiar with that content management system. But I thought for some of my clients I would delve into Joomla because it gives you a lot more power, a lot more flexibility, and you can really put together some dynamic and very amazing websites. Now, one of the things that I ran into was using standard templates in Joomla. Great. However, from time to time you want to place a module in a specific place. And although there are built-in positions in the templates, sometimes they're not in the right position, or you want to move them, or you want to create a new position leaving all the original positions of the template intact. So you just want to add a position. Now let me just show you something. Normally, if you go to your here I've set up a very quick test demo site just called Joomla, and I've used the Bees 5 default template that comes with Joomla 1.6, and it's the fruit shop demo. It gives you some samples and sample information, sample data. And so here we are. Now normally in Joomla, let's say going back to Joomla 1.5, you could just go up here and type a little secret command. It's a $TP equals 1, and doing this would show you the positions on the template. Now notice I did that, and up here it is showing, $TP equals 1. However, it hasn't changed anything. Well, in Joomla 1.6 they've added a security feature so that people don't go around knowing what your positions are, being able to fool around with it, or even just looking at your template and finding out how you did things. If you want to hide that, well, Joomla 1.6 allows that. Now let me show you how to go into the control panel and re-enable the displaying of the positions of the template with this command. So what you do is you go to your control panel, which I've got here. This is the control panel for Joomla 1.6. It looks a little bit different than 1.5 for those of you using 1.5 and are used to 1.5. But let me just walk you through how to turn on the position display. So what you do is you go to your template manager. You can either go through extensions and template manager, or simply on the front page of the control panel go to template manager. Here you go over on the right hand side, you've got the large toolbar. You've got options. You go to options and you enable so this was preview module positions with the TP1. So you just save and close. Now if we go back to my tab of my home page and refresh this, you will now note that it now shows our positions. Okay, now other than this one right here, demo position -1, all of these are the default positions that come with the template. In this case, Bees 5. Let's go see how you can add this or move it around. So what you want to do is you go to your control panel of your web hoster, if you can, or your shell account, or however, or if you want, you can edit the file locally. You're going to be editing two files: the index.php default file for the template that you're working with, and the template.css. Now in 1.6, I have to warn you, in Joomla 1.6, the .css, the cascading style sheet files, have been separated out, whereas in 1.5 you had all your positions and everything in one template, template.css. In 1.6 they have separated them out, and I'll show you that right here by showing you the file manager. you'll notice that right now I'm sitting in the CSS of the Bees 5. So you got all these. Now you're going to notice you got layout, position CSS, print CSS, and template CSS. Template CSS in this case is very small. What we're after is position.css, and I'll show you why. So I've opened that, and it's right here. I've already opened it in my editor, and you'll notice here I've added a new position, a new dev, a class, okay, and the style, a new style, demo position. I've given it position absolute with a left of 300 pixels, top 50 pixels, and a Z index of 100 pixels to make sure it's up in front of everything else. That's the first thing you want to do. So what you want to do is open your position.css of your template in Joomla 1.6, and you can add something similar to this. You can name it whatever you want. You can name it your name, you can give it a fancy name. I just called it demo position, and I gave it the position attribute of absolute with, in this case, 300 pixels and 50 pixels, and with the Z index. Now let's go to the other file. The other file you want to modify is the index.php of your template. Okay, and here it is. For those of you not familiar with fooling around with your templates in Joomla, it may seem overwhelming at first when you look at this, but there's actually a logic to it. And if you start reading more and more and playing around with it, you will get it. If I got it, you'll get it. Okay, so let's scroll down a bit and I'll show you where I added my div. Here's the div with the ID demo position, referring back to the demo position style that I showed you earlier. What I did is I simply copied this line from a position div further down. Now, I'll just show you this one here. Let's try that again. Breadcrumbs. So the ID of this style is breadcrumbs, and you'll notice that it's right here. It's called position 2. So what I did is I just simply copied that line. I brought it back up here. Oops, not too high. I brought it back up here. I put it here, but I changed the name. Now this name here is the name of the position. What position? Aha, the position that are referred to in the control panel under modules. So now you'll notice here I've got my demo position 1. If I go to home, you'll notice here it's not easily read, but it's demo position -1 is right here. This corresponds to 300 by 50. Okay, that's the position. If I go back to my actual position here, I've got left 300. Let's change this to 400 and save the file. And now if I go back to home and I refresh, watch this. Oop, it just jumped right to the new position of 500 by 50. So now you're probably saying, great, Stefano, I have a new position, that's wonderful, but what do I do with it? Well, actually the whole premise behind making these module positions is now in your template under control, in the control panel of Joomla, you can go in and for any given module attribute it that position. Now there is one more thing you have to do though, is you have to update a file called Templateddetails.xml, which is going to be in the root directory of the template that you're working with. In this case, Bees 5, you'll see it over here, and here's my the root directory, and here's the Templateddetails.xml, which I've already opened. I believe it's over, whoops, sorry, here it is. So if you scroll down your XML file, this holds all the information in terms of files and icons and all sorts. About halfway down you have something called positions. Well, you want to add your position here. I've added a demo position 1, and you enclose it in the position tag, and then you just save the file. There you go. I've already saved this, so it's giving me that I made no changes, and that's fine. So now when you go back to your control panel. Now when you choose your module manager and go and find your, in this case, let's go back to home, what we're going to do is we're going to move the login form to our new position. Now it doesn't make any sense, but for this sample, this is what we're going to, for this example, this is what we're going to do. So we're going to put the login form up here, and I'll show you how you can tweak it too. So let's go back to the control panel. So we have to find the login form. Here it is in the modules. You'll notice right now it's at position 7. So we click it. And since we put the new position, demo position -1, in our XML details, okay, file, if we click on select position and scroll around, let me just see, it might be on page 1. There it is. Okay, you'll notice we attributed it to that particular template, so it's picked it up on the XML file details of that template. Here it is, position 1. We save it, or save and close. In this case, let's just save it. Now when we go to home, now I'm going to keep the TP1 on so we can see the position. If I reload this, lo and behold, our user login form is now in the same position as our new module position. Let's remove the TP, and there it is. Now notice, however, it's kind of over to the right a bit too much and a little bit too low. So let's go into the CSS file, the position.css. Here it is. So what we want to do is perhaps make it 350 pixels over from the left, and perhaps 30 pixels from the top. Let's save that. Go back to home, reload. Let's see what's happened. Not bad. It's moving up. So we can move it over a little bit more. Let's do that. Whoops, sorry. Let me just close that one. We won't need that one for now. So we want to move it over just a little bit more. And this you can do by having your editor, either if you have a shell account for your web host, you can go in and using Emacs or VI, you can go in and change the CSS template and go and change your style. Or if you have if you're working on your files locally, then you have to upload it to your web host through FTP every time. But once you get the workflow going, it becomes relatively easy. So we're just going to reload here. You'll notice it's moved over a little bit. Still a bit too low. Notice how it's coming down into this part. Now again, this is just a demo. Obviously, we're not going to leave it here because it wouldn't make sense. There's not enough room. But I just wanted to show you, by playing around with the absolute positioning, how you can slowly position your module exactly where you want with a new module position. So let's go over that again very, very quickly. So to create a module position in Joomla 1.6, first thing you want to do, so that you have the flexibility of seeing your current positions, so you want to enable this position display. You do that by going to your control panel, right? And you're going to, let me just close off this. You go to your template manager, you go to options, and you make sure this is enabled. The preview module positions is enabled. Okay? So we'll just cancel out of there. Then the second thing you want to do, going to your file manager of your web host, or you can do it locally with your files through FTP. There are 3 files you have to modify. The first file is in the CSS folder, you're going to be looking at the position file. Okay, and in the position file, you're going to create a new style called whatever you want to call your style for that position. So position, and give it the attribute position absolute. With, you can start off by putting some numbers here, some location. You can do it from the left, from the right, from the top, from the bottom. If you know a little bit of CSS, it helps. If not, you sort of can go with what I've put here. The next thing you want to do is you open up your, let me go back to File Manager, let me go up one level. So now you're going to go to your index.php of your template that you're working with, and here it is in my web host file manager, file editor, excuse me. And then you're going to put a new div, okay, with the ID of the demo position you created in your CSS, along with this line here, which is a JDoc include type equal modules, name equals demo position -1, or whatever name you want to give the position. Okay. Now that position has then to be put in the Templateddetails.xml, which I'm going to open up for you here in the file editor. Let's go here. And scrolling halfway through, you go to the positions and you add the name of the position as it shows up in this line, not this. Okay, remember, it's not the style that has the position attributes, it's the name given here to this JDoc include, which is in your index.php file. Okay, so once you have that in there within position tags, you save it. Okay, then what will happen is you will now have your position in your template, which you can view again using the TP equals 1, and then you go to your module manager, hope you're following this, of your control panel. You go to whatever module you want to move. I'm just going to take another one here, just breadcrumbs, just to show you an example. When you click select position and you scroll down, you will see your new position that you entered in your XML details file. Okay. Having done that, you should then be able to position, let's get rid of this. You should then be able to position your module exactly where you want with your new module position. Hope that was clear. Hope it wasn't clear as mud. I'm Stefano. I'm glad you stuck around for this quick tutorial. Again, by no means am I an expert, but there was an instance where I really needed to know how to create a module, a new module for Joomla. I did it in 1.5. It was very similar. If any one of you want to know how to do it in 1.5, just leave a comment in the comment section of this video, and I'll get back to you with that. Okay, I'll either write it out or I'll make another tutorial. Now don't forget, once you've done all this, go back. Let me close this out. Go back to your template manager. This is very important. Click on options and don't forget to disable the preview so that snoopy little people like me can't do that. You'll notice it will not show the template positions. Okay, hope that was good. If you have any questions, just leave a comment in the comment section, and thanks for watching.